Good evening, everybody. DadmanWalking55 here. Come to you from the east coast of the U.S. at 2 minutes after 9 o'clock on another Friday night. Not just a Friday night, but it's the first Friday night just before the real kickoffs of the college football season. We had week 0. We had some drama with that, with FSU Georgia Tech. We had some drama last night. But hey, there's still nothing like the real opening week 1 of games, guys. There are so many wonderful college football games tomorrow that you will die watching. Gosh, Mrs. used to have me set up for 4 TVs from noon till 2 o'clock in the morning out in Hawaii, So that is really, really funny. So great to have y'all here tonight. Share it out, hit that like button and all with everything that we're doing. We are now at 600. Actually, I got to edit that. We actually did some friends last night. We ended up getting 2 more subs. So we were off that evil number. We are at 668 subscribers right now and all that. So, let me bring in tonight's guest panelist with me. You know him, you love him. He's done a lot of sports with us. He's also done Buck Rogers and all kinds of other stuff. I've brought this guy for some of his expertise and insight that we've been talking about football for a while. Let me bring in the captain himself, the great JT Kirk. Hey, JT, how are you tonight?
Hail, good evening. Go green, go white.
All right.
Which is Michigan State for Go Michigan State, yes.
Okay. So, folks, as you know, you could probably figure my Wednesday night co-host, Bucky, is all Big Blue Michigan. JT, describe... I didn't even finish. Tell us the love between the great city of East Lansing and Ann Arbor, between Michigan State and Michigan.
Oh, I mean, have you ever heard of the war between the states or, some France-Germany friendly disagreements? Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. Ann Arbor, Michigan and East Lansing, Michigan are, well, maybe about an hour apart from stadium to stadium, depending on our never-ending orange barrel season and winter.
Construction.
Yes. But
now, do y'all do all the construction before it gets to be winter, or do they do construction year round?
So historically, we used to have 2 seasons, winter and construction. But lately, they've been extending that so that way they just leave the barrels up all winter, even if they don't do any work. Just for fun.
That's laziness, but hey,
you don't have to lease, orange barrel storage units. I don't know if those are a thing, but if they're out on the road, then you don't have to have a place to store them, right?
Well, we got somebody lurking here that said you are right. You might not be. I guess that might be the only thing.
Frame that.
Yes,
that's going up on my wall.
Bucky said that is true. Welcome in, Bucky, our great Michigan co-host on Wednesday
Good
night.
evening, Bucky. Yes.
By the way, that's
in your crafty nature,
crafty nature. Yes, but it's like in the Yellowstone when they wait till the construction, till ice is all down, and they do, it becomes construction season as soon as summer gets there. So I had to just jump on that, folks, because with Bucky there lurking tonight, it's
So these schools are close. They do not like each other. The University of Michigan, Ann Arbor tends to, this has changed over the decades, but I'll just kind of say, all the way back into like the 50s, kind of what the rivalry's been like and the differences. There's been decades where Michigan State's run the table, like in the 50s and the late 2000s, early 2010s. And then there's been other decades where Michigan just runs the table and wins like 8 in a row.
Yeah.
So it is definitely 100% a rivalry. This is one of those games where if you have season tickets, you'll basically, if you play it right, you can make your season ticket fee back selling the tickets to this one game. It is, gosh, I don't know if Auburn and Alabama have this level of interstate rivalry, but yes, there's very few states that have 2 massive teams, especially in the same conference, but this is one of them. And people it can get heated. It can get honestly very, very heated. I've had to scold somebody many years my senior before because a Michigan fan was berating like a 5-year-old Michigan State fan.
Right.
We won. He had been drinking far too much, and so things get a little out of hand sometimes. I mean, we're not any Philadelphia fans here, but
No.
it can, it's very energetic, very lively. And there's a lot of nicknames that come up and go around. There was many years ago now, gosh, I think closer to 20, there was a football player from Michigan called Mike Hart. And they beat
I remember
Michigan State the first year of Mark D'Antonio. And he just said, because they had come from behind to win the game by like 7 points or something. And he said, it's just like little brother. You let them think you can win, then you come right in and swoop it up and, take away. And Mark D'Antonio said, the pride comes before the fall. And then he proceeded to win, like, I think it was like 6 out of 7 in a row against them. And it got to the point where Michigan State was blowing them away by 35 points. Michigan State went to the Rose Bowl, went to the national championship. And, then they brought in Khaki Pants Harbaugh.
There you go.
So,
which is another story.
There's a long and storied history of.
Well, I tell you what, we are definitely going to have a night where we bring the two great rivals together one night. But hey, Bucky said, but don't worry, your governor will fix the damn roads.
Yeah, that's what she always says, and she says it in her super fake Midwestern mom accent because she changes into that voice, and she's been saying it for like 6 years now, and the roads are still projected to get worse, even though our taxes went way up on gas and registration and title and all the rest. So,
all right. Well, folks,
you had not trying to go, political.
Yeah, you had a little bit of Dadman politics, but you can't deny it with that estate. When you define your seasons as winter and construction barrel, and Bucky, we got two enemies together, Michigan State, that just confirmed one truth. It's construction barrel season. So, hey, well, let's get through the chat. We'll go ahead and say hi to everybody. Tim FKC here is here tonight. Hell back to you. The great Snorter Poopas Q Burr. Hello, humans and other critters. Welcome in, sir. The great Tina, the naughty dragon, is here. Absolutely. Good to see you, Tina. JT Kirk. And let's see, we can have. And Bucky said that is true to something you had said earlier today. Tina actually said that CFL has their annual rivalry games on Labor Day weekend. Oh, that should mean this weekend has got some good rivalries here today. So, and howdy to Small Time Republic. I'm going to get to another one of his comments because I don't know if you remember, Small Time is one of our resident Auburn fans in the SEC.
Yes.
Along with B from O. And he did say, down here, when someone moves to Alabama, we force them to pick a preference between Alabama and Auburn. I've actually had a friend that actually pretty much said the same thing, that they have family move to Tennessee, and it's now like they're being told because the relatives are in Alabama, you got to pick Auburn or Alabama. So, this Bucky likes, don't care if you're a Spartan fan, just like when people are enjoying themselves and also like to make up arguments. Yes, we know you like to argue. So, Sci-Fi Mombi coming in and say hello. Oh, y'all have cool Friday night high school football games. That is a wonderful thing. And hello to you, Simply Steve 68. Good to see
my
you
wife
tonight.
Is running the band at the local
here
high
comes
school
the band.
now, so.
Roll Tide, OC Dobbins.
Oh.
We had him on
Love
with
you
us
anyway.
last year.
Love
Dobbins.
you anyway, OC. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Now, folks, remember that we do have our Wednesday night. Our special for the SEC is with my co-host this season. I'm doing one co-host, which is with Bucky's Crafting on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. So hopefully, if you can make that tonight. I had just itched to talk some college football, and JT was available. Yeah, they've been very hardy the past few years. You can see, like you had said, you're around. Mm-hmm. Outlaw Bill, I finally got your name right, my friend. Oh, Bucky, stop! Bucky's spurring the chat on Small Town Republic, War Eagle. All right. So,
I said War Eagle just to, There
well,
we go.
They used to also
somebody
have
else spelling War Eagle wrong.
Well, they used see the problem growing up with Auburn that always got me. They were the Tigers, the War Eagles, and then they're also known as the Plainsmen.
Yes.
Now so you know about that. It's like as a kid, I'm like, what are you guys? What? I'm
Well, that's
confused.
like Eastern Michigan was
Yep.
the Normalites, which is named for like an
Take care,
educator.
Bucky. Thank you for coming through, though. I know it's
Oh,
family night to you, so hey, thanks for coming and
yeah.
say
Good night,
hi.
Bucky. Thanks for
And
dropping by.
we'll get you on with JT, and y'all can go at it one night.
Yes. The Eastern Michigan, anyway, was first the Normalites, which is like education or an educator is a Normalite. And then they became the Hurons. And the Huron Native American tribe is from this region of the U.S. So, okay, cool. Fierce, good mascot name, all that to inherit. But then the 90s came around and, well, we're going to go into dead man politics again there. So I'll leave that alone. So now they're the Eastern Eagles.
Oh, geez.
And yeah.
Well, sometimes you just can't help it. I mean, what we're finding is more and more that football, that it's hard to keep politics out of a lot of sports,
Yes.
in the general sense. I try to really stay out of the personal party type of politics. That's the thing. But it all, when you're dealing with state funding, state schools and all, it does become politics at some point. I want to do something though real quick here. I want to also bring this up to remind people, like what I was talking about right there, is a change that I've done with the channel this year. First 2 years we did a special guest on the weekly SEC show. This year I'm going with a standard setup co-host, which is Bucky's Crafting. Hey, so make sure y'all come to Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. A little bit easier for you guys on the West Coast there to attend and everything else. Oh man, hey Sashi, greetings. Good to see you tonight, Sashi. Welcome from Malaysia. So, but yeah, join us on Wednesday nights with this show. We had a kickoff show. We had this first show Wednesday night. Was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people watching, a lot of people very active. So come back, join us for a lot of fun. What we will do like with tonight and with like on the football streams we do is we do the squirrel streams at night and they can be kind of rambunctious and stuff like that. But what we want to do is keep a good culture and decorum when we have, with the sports shows. We're expecting some good natured ribbing between people like we've had tonight. And you got to have some naughtiness a little bit with, like, when you're talking about balls and Beavers and Morehead State and stuff like it, you can't help but laugh about it. But what we want to try to do is make sure when we do it, we do stay, a bit classy, not degrade into a lot of areas. And when we do talk, we don't tell off-color comments about either individuals in the chat or in the panel, and just to try to keep it fun and lively, but also worthy of a sports stream. I know, and I just want to make sure that people understand that we do have that balance, and we're trying to get that balance, especially with sports streams.
My
ahead,
high school football coach got so sick and tired of the high schoolers dropping all kinds of foul language that he made us run between the high school and the football field, and the football field was probably about 500 yards away from the locker room, and it was downhill. So if you had to run all the way back up to the locker room and back twice, you're running uphill, and you're running like a kilometer as punishment. And then we had to do down ups, which is like you blow the whistle, you get to the ground, you pop back up. And every time we went down, we had to say mother, father to honor our parents instead of the filthy, naughty words. So we can't do that to the chat, unfortunately, but you know, just in the spirit of clean athleticism,
right,
in sports.
Because what we'll do is we'll have to, if it crosses things, we'll have to delete some of the comments. But things happen, and I know sometimes that we have to differentiate between the squirrel streams and our football streams, because this is one of the bedrock shows of my channel, and it's all good. We have a lot of fun. Like I said, though, go back and watch our first shows. I'll never look at the under center snap again after Bucky came up with the term she came up with.
Me neither.
It's hilarious. It just can't get it out of there. Yeah, squirrels. See, Small Town Republic is now saying Auburn's basketball coach Bruce Pearl has become very political on Twitter. I agree with you. You go ahead, JT.
Oh, I was just gonna finish up by saying, would you use that kind of language in front of a polar bear? Because you know, think twice, right?
Yeah, think fast. We got a polar bear that's got a wrench. He'll come after you. But hey, but yeah, I do think that coaches. I mean, it's one thing when you're Steve Kerr for the Golden State Warriors. You're a pro. You pay people to come play for you. But when you're college trying to recruit and everything else, but it
Oh
could.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
all right. So remember Wednesdays at 10. So JT, let's take a look at what is going on tonight. Currently in action, we've got uh, uh, 16th ranked Oklahoma is leading Temple 34-0 with about 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Hey, Sparty is in action tonight.
Yes.
First game under Jonathan Smith, the former Oregon State head coach, and Aiden Childs, who transferred with him, are leading FAU 16-3 in the third quarter. So, what are your thoughts on your team this year?
Well, it is kind of funny. I wasn't going to cut you off. I did just want to note that John Smith is not John L. Smith, who was the coach 3 coaches ago, who then later coached at Arkansas.
Yes.
Um, to middling results there.
Yeah.
So, for whatever reason, my alma mater loves John Smiths and their variants as football coaches.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, this Jonathan Smith, you'll love it. He's a great coach. He actually turned the Beavers around many years ago, left. I think he went to Nebraska. He bounced around and he came back to Corvallis and was really taking the team in a good direction. They were doing stadium expansions until the self-nuclearization of the Pac-12 happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like, yeah. So
yeah.
he got out of Dodge. He got out of a dying school and conference. It was his alma mater. I remember when he played quarterback for the Beavers, and it's really sad. But you got a great coach there.
Yes, and it'll be good to finally flush the memory of the last 2 coaches, with both ended with political and legal controversy. So it'll be good to try to forget about some of that and have something to look forward to, right? Like I haven't watched nearly as much the last 3-4 years because the product hasn't been good, 1, but 2, the just the bad air around the program. And that's hurt recruiting. That's hurt the team retaining players. I look at this team and I look at the schedule and I say, okay, well, college, you get a new set of players for your team every year. So that keeps the game a little bit more fresh than watching Aaron Rodgers play his 98th season in the NFL, or Tom Brady totally not cheat his way into his, basically his 50s at New England or Tampa, right? You get a lot of turnover, which can help if you have a stinky team, but can also hurt because you have the good people leaving.
Well, look, we got a lot of good college football fans out here, I know, and we can explore that just a second, because I know you and I have not had a chance to talk on it. When I was going to sit down and make my projections for Alabama, Mississippi State, all these SEC teams, the first thing I noticed was, oh my gosh, where's Will Rogers? Well, apparently he's in Washington. Gabriel, Dylan Gabriel is not at Oklahoma. He's in Oregon. And I'm like, I agree. I see what you're saying. But one of the problems that I'm having right now is another part of the tradition of college football is been obliterated, which is usually you got players that stuck around 3-4 years.
It was rare, but people did switch, but it was rare.
In the last 20 years, they started moving, but before that, they stayed. You had the transfer rules where you had to sit out a year if you did transfer. It punished you to transfer. Now it's like plug and play. And even within the SEC, Florida lost 2 of their best players last year. Was Prince, a defensive lineman, is now at Ole Miss, and Trevor Etienne, the great dynamic running back, is now playing for the University of Georgia. And it's like, used to the league would not allow them to play immediately if they stayed with the conference. But it just struck me that how different it is. Everybody's moving around. I saw a stat last night, Colorado, even in spite of last year's turnover that Deion Sanders did, he still had almost 50 people leave and 50 come in this year.
And I think some of the this is going to have an effect on some of the players too, because you're going to have to do one of two things, or maybe both. One, you'll see a standardization of a sports degree or a general studies degree across the conference. All the schools will basically have a unified curriculum, so all the credits transfer. And you might see that go between SEC and the Big Ten, or you might see them throw up fences saying, you're going to have to restart as a freshman if you go over there, because none of the credits are going to there's going to be all kinds of games played around that. I also think that you might just see the finishing of any academic requirements for these guys, because what are you going to do? Are you going to leave the players with no degree after 4 years because they've moved to three different schools?
I've had somebody tell me recently I trust very much, that's very close, that said they don't know how the players do it. They come in tired and everything else, and it just and what they do get is a BS degree, is what she said. Bullshit. And it's like, they're not prepared. But hey, I see these are kind of cool stories. That Will Rogers with Small Town Republic's aunt was his boss at one point.
Oh, interesting.
And Will Rogers is not the writer, the old humorist guy. He was a quarterback from Mississippi State. Now he's up in Washington. So hey, and hell to Dave C. Dave C. Welcome.
Very nice. So, some of that portal business, I think what is also going to happen to this is really create problems for any of the teams that are out of the top 10. I think what will happen is, if you can help your recruiting to your conference by saying, look, your general sports degree is transferable to any school in the Big Ten, and you have 16 schools or whatever, 29 schools, or however big this conference is going to get, in years to come. I think that helps, because then that makes the players think, okay, well, if things don't work out at Iowa, I can go to, Wisconsin, or I can go to Oregon, right? And still have a way to do that. And that might be good for the players. I just think that what you're going to see is a sorting of all the talent that you can't even get with the NFL because of their salary cap. You're just going to get another Alabama by other means, right? You're just going to get another Ohio State by other means, where all these players will go to make super teams, and your Michigan States, your Penn States, your Auburns, your LSUs of the world are going to suffer, because it's going to be the A team in one town with one coach, and then everybody else is going to be fighting for the scraps, where before you're totally reliant on the persuasiveness of the coach, the skill of your talent, your recruiting staff, and the legendary nature of your program. And now your program's up to, how can I underhandedly, well, maybe not underhandedly, but how can I defend myself from people trying to poach all my players?
And how can I do everything within the rules and that's allowable, folks? And folks, if y'all have opinions, feel free to share your opinions with us, with the transfer, with everything else. We love to hear what you have to think too. Let's see.
I don't think there's enough penalty on the schools. Or enough restrictions on the schools to do these trades.
The rules have always been kind of squishy. I mean, they kind of leave it to the states, but then and of course the NCAA never is afraid of doing anything, because they keep losing all these cases that they really don't have much of enforcement anymore. They're being neutered. The NCAA is proposing getting rid of the spring transfer portal window, meaning you can only move in the December window. Yes, I've heard about that. But because, you have players transfer once, they don't get like what happened, so then they transfer again really quickly. So,
or could we just do spring and just make it the month of April, and that's it? That way you already know if the coach is hired again.
Well, I'll tell you what, that also look at what happened to was it the Orange Bowl last year with Georgia and FSU?
Yeah.
Where it's bad enough that the bowl games are now glorified scrimmages where half the good players just sit out anyway. But FSU was missing like 23 players. Half of them were sitting out for the draft, and half of them were in the transfer portal. I mean, they were still committed in going to college football. I wish that they would have had some way that it would have been you have to play. You can't just sit out because you're transferring. And like that, if the transfer portal didn't open until April, well then you might have some. I mean, they can still sit out, but yeah, but just have the one portal. That's it. Hey, Think Park Casual, welcome.
Hey,
How are you
TPC, good to
tonight?
see you.
Good to see you. We got 10 people here with us tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe. You Alabama fans, say something. You Auburn fans, say something. You Michigan State fans, feel free to say a lot. And thank you, Theme Park Casual, for coming through. Tonight, also, in one completed game, Army beats Lehigh 42-7. Western Michigan and Wisconsin are still scoreless early in the game. Duke is struggled with Elon up to a 13-0 lead. Elon's like, I've been watching this game. It's bad. So
the Musks, the Fighting Musks. You said Elon.
I got you. No, they're the Phoenix. They're the Phoenix. I got you now. No, not that one. I had to get what you were saying. In last night's action, Missouri wins blanks at Murray State 51-0. Utah blanks Southern Utah 49-0. Kansas 48-3. NC State ends up winning 38-21, but in a game that was very close. It was tied at 14 at halftime. Western Carolina took a 21-14 lead or 21-17 lead in the third quarter. Was a really tough game at home for NC State, who is looking ahead to playing Tennessee upcoming. Was that a trap game? Western Carolina is coached by the former Florida Gator quarterback Kerwin Bell. Catamounts lost this game, but it really was a good game to watch for the longest time. Of course, our friend Wes Cagle's favorite university, I wish he was here, maybe he's lurking, the State University of New Jersey, Rutgers beats Howard 44-7, which came with a little controversy with a last-second touchdown by Rutgers that kind of made Howard mad. Wake Forest dominates North Carolina A&T 45-13. UCF dominates New Hampshire 57-3. Buffalo beats Lafayette 30-13. Bowling Green beat Fordham 41-17. Central Michigan 66-10. I tell you what, Central Connecticut 66-10. One state. You guys have so many dadgum schools. Every directional possible. What happened to Southwest Michigan State?
Well, that would be Western. Western is in Southwest Michigan. Then you have Eastern, which is in like southeastern Michigan. Then you have Michigan in Michigan State. Yep. You have Central. You have Northern. Then you have Ferris State, Saginaw Valley State, Grand Valley State, Wayne State. Let's see. Did I say Northern Michigan? There's Michigan Tech. And I know I'm
Michigan Tech
Lake
too.
Superior State.
Hockey, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. So I know I've probably forgotten at least two. So there are so many that they had to just start taking directions on the compass. But Southern Michigan is about the only one they don't have.
Yeah. Well, in last night's action, there are only two games worth talking about more. North Carolina beats Minnesota 19-17 with a last-second field goal as time expired. But what's significant in this game was that the former Texas A&M LSU quarterback Max Johnson, son of the great NFL quarterback Brad Johnson from FSU, left the game with a broken leg and is going to miss the rest of the season. But it was a tough win. Mac Brown is like 75 and he's still coaching. Comes away with a win on the road. And also the game everybody kept waiting for an upset. Colorado holds off North Dakota State 31-26 in a game that was very offensive in the first half, slowed down in the second half. But Colorado manages to hold off for the win at home. And that is the week that we have so far. As we talk transfer portals and recruiting, let's take a look real quick at like JT. I'm going to bring up, because since you're here tonight, we're going to look at your schedule here for Michigan State real quick. Then we're going to look at the games tomorrow. We're going to take a look at the games coming up tomorrow. But in here, You see for
Oh,
Michigan State.
I put a link on there for you in the private chat as well. But
Okay.
either one, that'll work. You have
Okay.
it up
Yeah.
there.
Well, right now, live on the Big Ten Network. So if you got the Big Ten Network, you can watch Michigan State and Florida Atlantic. Then the Spartans go on the road at Maryland. Then they host Prairie View on the road at Boston College. Then you get Ohio State at home. Any good feeling of that? Okay.
Go through them, and I can give you a week by week. I won't take long, but I can do a
wow,
quick
that's
week
a
by week.
bad week. I thought Florida has the toughest schedule in the country, but home to Ohio State, then at Oregon. Then they host
then
they host number 25 Iowa. Then they're at Michigan. Oh, wow, yeah. What a schedule. Yep. Then they host Indiana at Illinois, and then last two games at home against Purdue and Rutgers. So, JT, wow, what a schedule.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I was complaining the other day to Whoopa on the Wednesday show chat because I look at these first four games, and it's tradition to play what you call the paycheck games before you start into Big Ten play, and they bucked that trend, crafty sort of way. But FAU, I think they're in good position to pull that one out tonight. At Maryland, then home against Prairie View, at Boston College. I have them losing to either Maryland or Boston College. I think BC has always had a way of besting Notre Dame in some kind of contest. You know, it's just a sneaky team. Then Maryland, we have no business losing to, but I think between BC or Maryland, they'll find a way. So then you get into the middle part of the season, and you're home with Ohio State, who is, no love lost between these two teams whatsoever. I know everybody talks about Michigan, Ohio State, but there was a few years there when what's his name that used to be the Florida coach had only ever lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten.
Oh, Urban Meyer.
Yeah. There was a while there where Mark D'Antonio was the only coach and the only school had beaten Ohio State there.
Well, so, I like to call him Oscar Meyer sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
With what he did when he went to Ohio State and was recruiting out there saying, don't send your kids to Florida because of the culture.
Right.
Well, you created it. Sorry, but that's still a sore spot with me.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I didn't mean to bring it up.
No, it's okay. No, but it's you got to deal with it. Move on.
First year coach, the cupboard's pretty bare. I mean, how many guys can you really bring in a year? Now this game is always close for the first three quarters, and sometimes it's even close until the end. But I'm picking that as an L. At Oregon, they are not going to like the coach, John Smith. And you're going on the road to the West Coast, which is unusual for college. I'm calling that an L. I think Oregon's going to do very well playing all these teams. It's like when the Lions fly to the West Coast, they have a horrible record.
Yep.
I think that's going to carry over here. And then defending against Iowa, I mean, the biggest battle is going to be staying awake through this, 6-3 final score football game. But that team, I think, is returning a lot of players, and they always play Michigan State close. So I mark that a loss.
Okay.
So that's 3 in a row. Then by the time you get to Michigan,
I know Bucky's told me Bucky's got that on the calendar for you already, JT.
Right. So there was a bye week in there between Oregon and Iowa. So maybe you have the best chance against Iowa, the bunch here. But then you're going at Michigan. And that game, it doesn't matter how bad your teams are, usually. It's going to be a close game. I don't pick them winning that either. I think by the time you roll through those other three, even with one bye week in there, you're going to be too hurt, and too many of your starters are just going to be down. That happens, right? That just happens. And so you get to the last 4 games on this schedule. Indiana, who can surprise Michigan of all teams. But Indiana, Illinois should be 2 victories. Purdue, they tend to fall apart near the end of the season for one crazy reason or another. I give them an L, especially at home. And then Rutgers, they'll close out the season on a victory. But I'm only giving them 5 or 6 wins, which unless you want to go to like Jiffy Lube or what was it, Lucas Oil Bowl that
the Tiger Bowl,
used to be in
Texas
Detroit.
Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Detroit Bowl. Yeah, it's now just a Detroit Bowl.
Unless you really want to go to like the Detroit Bowl, you're probably not going to be bowl eligible, unfortunately, which is too bad.
Just what I want to go to Detroit, Michigan in the winter.
Well, yeah, right. It's you got enough other stuff to do around New Year's and Christmas. I'm sorry, but paying for all the parking and the headache of driving downtown in bad weather
and full price. Yeah, that's like we have the Gator Bowl, but it's like I don't want to pay $50 to go watch Kentucky or somebody like that. I mean, maybe $20 I'd go, but by the time you add in all the stuff, it's just, and now a glorified exhibition. And we see, like I said earlier, with FSU, with all the people deciding to sit out or transfer, you're not getting your money. Let me stop for a second. We need to go back to the chat. Maniac, hello, Maniac. Well, hope you're okay. Had to go back to the hospital. Hopefully the book comes through for you. Very good. Yep. But hey, hopefully you're doing well tonight. We appreciate that. And Small Time Republic did say Colorado threw a deep pass late while up only 5 points. So running it or taking a knee almost cost them. Yep. Well, some of the talk I hear is like with Deion Sanders has banned one of the media people from him talking to him or interviewing him. And, the media has circled the wagons in a way. It's like some of the criticism I heard or questions I heard on the game coverage last night was, are people turning on Deion Sanders or the comment was like, well, maybe if he'd be more concerned with his offensive line instead of what reporters are saying,
Well, Barry was always the best Sanders of the 90s. I'll take that one for forever. So
yes,
but yeah, I've heard similar things too, Dadman. I'm like, sometimes you just do the stupid interviews that are like, well, we played really hard, and next week we're going to try to win. That kind of nonsense. It's better just to do that and keep them away than making the media your enemy.
Exactly. Now, see, Small Time Republic says, I get the impression Urban Meyer is not respected in the coaching community. I don't think so, because the way recruiting is Florida, the way some of the he's been rumored with USC and all these different jobs, but they never pulled the trigger on him. But I tell you, if you do not know what happened in the NFL experiment with the Jaguars, it went horribly wrong. It was, go read up on it and you'll see why. I don't think it's just college coaches, because his time in Jacksonville at the NFL was so bad that would have ruined him, even for college coaching. They were taught the thing about he didn't fly back with the team from Cleveland one night. He stayed in there, and they had the photos of him with a lovely lady that was not his wife. So, yeah, among other things. So, but hey, go look the news stories. That's it. Go look the articles for yourself. But we still got 12 people here. We got 19 likes. Wow, you guys are rocking for a Friday night in football, man. JT, you having fun?
Mrs.
Lurking.
Mrs.
is lurking here now. And Master said, always well when I'm with a friend. Hey, Brian Hepburn. Brian, good to see you, man. How are you doing? You'll probably be able to buy I was banned by Coach Prime gear from Colorado State. Yeah, why not?
Probably.
That's right. Brian, it's good to see you, man. How are you doing? I see Buddy often, but hey, good to see you in here with us tonight. So let's take a look at the games that come off tomorrow, okay? And then we're going to,
sure. And just so folks know, we're not going to live quote the scores, but Oklahoma is well ahead here, going near the bottom of the third inning.
I don't mind live quoting scores. I don't mind live quoting scores. What I don't do is the play-by-play and stuff like that. Or things happen. So, because with 3:07 left, Oklahoma's up 37-3. Wow. So,
and then Michigan State is up 16-10 at the bottom of the third quarter with ball, 1st and 10 on the FAU 35. So they'll probably, they've made some progress.
The only thing is, I do not like your quarterback though. I even as a Beaver fan last year, and Jonathan Smith I like the coach, but the few plays that Aiden Smith played as a backup, he really, I don't know. It looks like he's run first, then throw. there was just something about him that I did not like the way he played the game
You
when he
know,
was in.
in a lot of that, it seems very common with those Michigan State quarterbacks. But then I think Connor Cook was in the NFL for a few years, at least as a backup. And then, Kirk Cousins was there when I was in school. And he's been at Minnesota for a little while. He's considered starting quarterback. So, and there were many games where you saw him play in college and you're like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Like, get somebody else in there that can play. And then, no, he's really good. There's just, execution is an 11-person effort on the field. Right. So you don't always.
Brian put the Oklahoma game on now. After that is TCU at Stanford. I know Buddy loves Stanford, but he's proud of the cardinal and the trees. But it's that should be a good game. That to TCU Stanford game should be it should be really, really fun. Yep.
Mm-hmm. What's coming up for tomorrow?
What's coming up for tomorrow? I'm glad you asked, my friend. Or like Lee Corso would say, hold it right there. Hey, there you go. B from O. Listen to our camp in the camping area. Yeah, there's another Auburn fan. OC Dobbins. You got to get some. OC Dobbins has got to bring in some more Alabama fans. We've got resident Auburn fans here. So let's see. What is coming up tomorrow is right off the bat, 12 noon. Number 1 Georgia and 14th ranked Clemson in a inner ACC SEC battle at noon on ABC at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia did not get to defend its national title last year, but they're still consensus number 1 coming off.
And I can actually watch that thing.
Yes,
ABC.
Be
on ABC.
Exactly. Also, though, listen, tomorrow for an opening week of football, this is power packed. And for me as a Gator fan, thankfully, the last 2 years we played Utah, it was, you're playing a real team. It wasn't like the Montana State years, but we'll get to it. But see, at the same time, though, over on Fox, you got Penn State, number 8 at West Virginia, which some people think that, James Franklin maybe sort of overrated for looking at this as a possible trap game up in
that's
Morgantown.
What I was smelling. Yeah, I was going to say, but I'm not even interested in this one.
All I know what I smelled was at a bowl game that was wet and rainy with a bunch of drunk West Virginia fans smelling and singing Country Roads. So, hey.
Yeah.
Not the Jackson 5 song. That's a television network. Yes, that game is coming up. So,
owned by the Walt Disney Corporation, by the way.
There is, one of the interesting games at 12 o'clock, it involves another ACC SEC matchup, is Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game that could be interesting. I mean, Vanderbilt's predicted by everybody to finish the bottom, except for two media writers that think at Vanderbilt picked them to win the SEC. I think they should have the credentials revoked. That's a joke, but
this is to coin a stereotypical phrase. This is a must-win for Vandy.
I agree with that. I mean, it's in all seriousness because this is a game they're going to win so few games, and if you look at their game-by-game conference schedule this year, it's impossible. If they don't win their non-conference games, it'll be like last year where they'll go winless in the conference. So. This is a game, though. It's easy to go against Vanderbilt because they suck so bad for so long. They brought in a lot of New Mexico head coach. New Mexico State is brought over as an assistant coach or an analyst. They've also brought quite a few members of the New Mexico State football team from last year, including their projected starting quarterback this year for Vanderbilt. So it will be interesting to see what type of Vanderbilt team you get. There are 3 quarterbacks through passes for Vanderbilt. None of them are with the team this year. Virginia Tech comes up with hopes to do something in the ACC. You would normally think this game is lockstep shut, but you never know. It's like Small Time Republic has said he thinks Vanderbilt could beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and I replied to him, I think there's a decent chance of it. Sure.
Yeah, we will see tomorrow. I mean, like you
Week
said, I
week
think it's a must win.
one, you're still teething, getting the teething issues out, right? Week two, hopefully a lot less. By week three, you should be a put together football team. But that week one, uh, good teams have lost to
Hmm.
bad ones, and then
Yeah.
you've ruined. Some teams view it as ruining your whole season
Hmm.
by doing that. So you never can tell.
Well, some other games of note, and I'm not going to go with there's too many games to get to everyone.
Right.
That's where we go. But just of note, Chattanooga is playing at Rocky Top, number 15 Tennessee on the
Rocky
SEC
Top.
Network at 12:45. Yeah, the thing with that is this is a one-sided game, but the fans of Tennessee have been getting incredibly more optimistic as it's gotten closer to the start of the season. But I will say this Tennessee with Nico, and I can't pronounce the quarterback's name, looks to be more of what Heupel wants to run with a fast tempo offense than what they had with Joe Milton
Mm-hmm.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
But still, some concerns with some of the analysts that I've heard up there with some of the games. They keep thinking that Florida could go up there and give Tennessee fits. I will say any type of time you have a rivalry game, it could happen, but we'll see. I think a game of interest because we know about North Dakota State, but South Dakota State's pretty good too. They're traveling at number 17 Oklahoma State.
I love Oklahoma State. It's just I like the team watching from afar. I don't have any investment in the team. I love it when they do well. They're kind of like a Gonzaga type of thing, right?
Yeah. So
the Ohio State Akron game.
Yeah.
We don't gamble on the show. We don't encourage it. We don't condone it. The
Uh,
line on this, which tells you how the rivalry's always been,
yeah.
48.5 points.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio State's actually lost to another state of Ohio team since
Youngstown State.
Like, did they lose to Youngstown State?
I thought that Youngstown State beat Jim Tressel once.
I don't know about
if you want to look that
but
up, because I think many years ago I had or Tressel might have been the coach at Youngstown State.
Yeah, I really did Ohio State.
Yeah. Well, and then we moved, and that's a 3:30 on CBS Paramount, which I have apparently gotten CBS Paramount on a free trial. Woohoo!
Let's see. Youngstown State. Oh, geez. They're only going back to 2007, so maybe they lost in 2000. I don't know, but they've never lost to Akron.
Okay.
They've never lost to Akron. So that tells you.
Other than Ohio State, is there really any competent football team in the state of Ohio? Is what it gets to.
Well, the Toledo Rockets beat Penn State, the University of Michigan.
They beat
during the Rich Rod era. Yeah.
Rich Rod. Those were the glory days.
Go Rockets.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so we got college.
Michigan State people learn the fight songs of these other schools when they beat Michigan.
Exactly. That's a good way to do it. Well, Colorado State plays at number 4 Texas at 3:30 on ESPN. My game of the day is 19th ranked Miami at Florida at 3:30 on ABC.
Nice.
This is
I can watch that one too.
What's that?
I can watch that one too.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, like I was telling Bucky, just go get that antenna so you can get the network stations, and a lot of, and that, it's like they're pulling a lot of the stuff from ESPN and putting them on all the over air stations, whether it's NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, where people can watch them again.
Yeah. And just so folks know, I have an antenna and some streaming network, but I do not have ESPN or Big Ten or Fox Sports or all these other extra to pay for. So I do have like 65 over the air channels.
Hey, do you have the CW, by the way?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Guess what? You now have the official network of the the Pac-2 conference. Both Washington State and Oregon State play on the CW tomorrow.
You got to tell me you're telling it the joke.
Yes, hey, nothing says college football like the
not ready for that.
Hey, that CW, just like the home of Arrow, of that Gotham show, all the wonderful people that the Marvel and DC fans just love to death.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
Now
That is
is the
so
home of the
fitting too
Pac-2
for a
conference.
two-team conference. That is so fitting. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep.
That thing is going to get canceled anyway. But yeah,
Anyway,
so if it's not on ABC,
yeah,
CBS, NBC,
you
the
don't want
Canadian
it on.
Broadcasting
Yeah.
Company,
Yeah.
Fox, the CW, or PBS, I probably am not going to get it. So when I say, oh, it's on ABC, it's because I don't feel like paying $80 a month to watch a football team. I don't. I'd rather go
So,
get, you
so
know,
look, Small Town Republic. Oh,
love it.
yeah.
Love it.
I do want to get your opinion in any Small Town Republic. OC Dobbins, hope you're still here lurking, and anybody else that really knows this. The Florida Miami game. That's I picked Florida to win this game. I think there's a chance. Graham Mertz
Now,
is the key to all that Florida does. But
what you
have you
haven't seen for a long time is a ranked Miami team.
right? They have Cam Ward who transferred from Washington State. They have a number of people that come in through transfer protocol, so the transfer portal. But this is a game I'm taking Florida most really because they are the home team. I don't think Florida's as bad as I want to say that they are. I think Florida's probably good. I think they're just don't have a good coaching staff.
What's the weather supposed to be like?
Hot.
For
There's
Ben
not
Hill.
much chance of rain, I don't think.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, this line, I just, I'd like to see the Gators win, but I don't know what other people think. And I'm not sure if you know enough about either team. But
see, I don't know anything about Miami this year. They were big in the 80s, right?
Right.
I'm trying to remember the last time they were relevant. Were they relevant into the 90s?
Yeah, they were relevant into the early 90s until Jimmy Johnson left.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think they fell off when Bill Clinton was president. That's how long ago it was, like his first term. Just historically, not politically. I'm just thinking.
No, I know.
The last time, like the era.
You could also measure it to when Jimmy
relevant.
Johnson left. When Jimmy Johnson left, they started going downhill. I mean, they won a championship under Larry Coker, but it was using Johnson's players.
I always wanted Miami to play Miami of Ohio to see which football team was, I wanted to see like the Miami rivalry getting big, but sadly I'm still waiting for that to happen.
All right. Well, hey, folks, if y'all want to talk about that Miami Florida game, tell me who you think win, because I'd like to get some moral support. But I will say, as a Florida fan, it will be good playing a team you hate, a game of a real interest, and not a directional school or paycheck.
Well, yeah, you got two Gator people on the stream here, so
it's like
probably not the most objective.
I really like it's nice. Even you hate losing that first game, but then again, you go in, you have something to look forward to. So let's see. I did want to. Okay, Sort of Poopus is going to bed. Thank you. Early American Revolution, huzzah!
Small Town Republic.
I was trying to wait on this TJ Finley, and I remember that name. I think TJ Finley, is that an NC State quarterback at one point? Is playing against Alabama. I think they're playing Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky. Let's see. They're playing Western Kentucky. Yeah, TJ Finley. So yeah, that's Western Kentucky on his third different team. He's played on four overall. Wow. That's something. Oh, JT, there's your update.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because they're on a premium "quote unquote" network, I'm unable to watch the game.
But see, this is another thing in college football that I'm starting to hate, because I swear that when trends like this happen in the NFL, they work down into college football. Before, in college, you didn't go for two till the fourth quarter and all. But when the NFL started the 2-point conversion and started this chart crap, because go for two even in the first quarter and stuff, all these coaches do this stuff. What happened to taking points? Last week, FSU did that. Instead of kicking a field goal to be down 4 to Georgia Tech, they did convert to 4th and 10. They ended up scoring a touchdown. It worked out for them. But whatever happened to taking the points and playing conservatives? Because at that point, you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree with.
I love Jonathan Smith as a head coach. I love Jonathan Smith as a head coach, but I
Because
agree
now
with
they could
small town.
lose.
Yeah.
Now they could easily lose
Yeah.
with one mistake. See, that's the thing
Yeah.
people don't realize. Mistakes can be had in any game by any defense, or you get lucky, whatever you want to call it. But in college, some of them are they're 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe 22.
Yep.
The age, the maturity, the experience, you will make more mistakes. And so I'm not a college football coach, but to me, playing conservatively in that situation is probably going to win you more games than it's going to lose. Now, maybe they think they have the game in hand, which they don't, that they can play second stringers or take this kind of risk with your special teams unit. Not sure I would do that in my first game as a head coach.
Well, they still have about 10 minutes left in the game, so that there's still a lot of game left in it. So.
Oh, yes.
All right. Angry Canadian. Hey, good to see you tonight. How are you doing?
Hey.
Welcome in.
There is a Canadian. It's spelled the French way.
Well, we got 21 likes tonight, JT. This is a heck of a great turnout, you guys, for this. People come in and out.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people in with us tonight. Feel free to share your opinions and whatever thoughts you are, especially in Miami and Florida. Also at 3:30, a game that I'm surprised is on Fox. It's a game that I might, if Florida wasn't playing, I'd be watching it. University of Texas at El Paso is at Nebraska. Maybe it's the one time that they feel confident about putting Nebraska on network TV this year. But
yeah, I was going to say that's probably about it. Look, ever since Nebraska moved to the Big Ten, they've really lost a lot of cachet, and they lose a lot more games.
And it's sad.
Many more games.
It is sad. At least Oklahoma's regained some of it, but Nebraska.
I think
even Scott Frost couldn't do anything.
Give Oklahoma 5 years, because that's about how long it took for Nebraska to do this. They'll be joining Vandy.
I see. That's the problem with the Southeastern Conference. Well, I'm going to hold on something until we get to the conference lineups. Let's get through the rest of the games. I wish Snort Poop was still here. I'd call this a Civil War battle. Air Force is hosting Merrimack, so instead we'd have the air guys in the Merrimack instead of the Monitor and the Merrimack. It'd be cool if Navy played Merrimack, but
that would be cool.
Yeah, you remind me of
or
Ohio,
the USS Virginia.
Oh,
the Navy should play Virginia and then play Merrimack. That would be.
No, that could work too. In the Eastern Kentucky, Colonels are at Mississippi State. Campbell is at Liberty. Richmond is at Virginia, folks. This is Virginia is now named another starting quarterback, but Richmond has upset Virginia before. Virginia was also upset last year by, I think, James Madison. So Virginia is really is like the Iowa of the ACC. I get. Hey, he's staying around. The French way is correct. JT Kirk. Vive le Quebec.
And too bad Bucky left. Becky.
Hey, Becky.
I should call her that next time I see her on stream.
She'd probably like it. So hey.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cat, welcome.
There we go. Hey, Putin's cat. The game that's also coming up here, Dadman, which I don't even know why they're bothering with putting it on TV. Alabama playing Kentucky, Western Kentucky at 7 p.m. on ESPN. I mean, don't people have better things to do Saturday night to watch that?
Well, but see, like Small Town Republic is TJ Finley's the quarterback for Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky is not a bad football team. So let's see.
I mean, I guess you watch it if they end the first quarter down a score or more,
or only up 10 points. Yeah,
if
the
it's
train anywhere wreck close. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe watch the train wreck happen on prime time.
Yeah,
but they're going up against Notre Dame versus Texas A&M at 7:30 on ABC.
Oh wow! All right, okay.
So that's the big game.
I'm actually looking it back up. I forgot this name. I know now why Small Town Republic knows him, because he attended high school in Louisiana, began at LSU, then transferred to Auburn. Then he would transfer to Texas State 2 years later.
How many years is this guy going to be in college?
Well, right now there's some 6 and 7 years because of the vid year. And stuff. They've gotten players that are 6 and 7 years in college. So,
Right.
so exactly. So hey, oh, and this is how bad it was after he left Auburn. I remember now. I remember T.J. Finley now. He couldn't throw the ball. Uh, so he would transfer it in 2021 or on 2023. He announced intention to transfer from Auburn, but then on January 16, 2024, he announced he would enter the transfer portal for the third time. And then 6 days later, he announced he would transfer to Western Kentucky. So he transferred twice in this year.
Jeez. Okay.
How about that? But see, that's the thing is that's the system we have now.
Well, okay, so here's another one. I'm just looking down the list of games that you may not anyone care about. This one here that's on the Big Ten Network, Idaho at Oregon. Is anyone in Oregon actually getting the Big Ten Network in time for this game? I mean, unless you're paying a couple $100 a month for a satellite package or cable package.
Yeah, I see. You can get it a little bit more affordable than that. I mean, Sling's not so bad, but you got to do the add-ons to it for about $75. I mean, it just, it's definitely cheaper than cable, but still.
I mean, but people are going to wake up tomorrow and realize, oh shoot, I'm going to watch that.
I miss Idaho. Yeah, I know. I won't pay for Big Ten. They got to throw it in free for me. By the way, also, JT, at 6:30 tomorrow night, it is the second game on that good CW network. Idaho State is at Oregon State.
Oh.
A big university that was in the middle of major renovations of their football stadium when the Pac-12 imploded. So how about all that money we just spent on construction and paying those bonds when who knows if we can even schedule anybody other than a varsity high school team going forward. Oh my God! You bet they're sweating now. Also, Furman is at Ole Miss. Just looking here real quick through the rest of the games tomorrow night. There are great games tomorrow, and I think Small Time Republic mentioned that Notre Dame at number 7. Notre Dame is at College Station, Texas A&M number 20 at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, also on ABC. So it's a great day of football for people, just if you have ABC, And there's still some on Fox. We'll see what the Fox game for the night is. Fresno State is at Michigan on NBC at 7:30. Alabama and A&M is playing at Auburn at 7:30 on the SEC network. Southern Miss goes to Kentucky at 7:45. It's SEC Network Plus is the Auburn game. ESPN Plus is SEC Network at 7:45 has Southern Miss, Kentucky. Georgia Tech comes off of its upset of FSU, hosting Georgia State on the ACC Network. True TV. Hey, True TV. Do you know what True TV is, JT?
Is that like a Turner Broadcasting affiliated channel?
I don't think so, but they might be because they get some of the March Madness games also with TNT and TBS. Texas A&M Commerce is at San Diego State, so even True TV has college football this year. That's how bad it is. Really though, I don't know what ESPN's showing because they do not have. ESPN
they have a 10:30 game, New Mexico at Arizona, which makes sense because it's the West Coast.
But I wonder what's going on. That ESPN didn't want an 8:00 game. It's interesting. But we also have Wyoming at Arizona
State.
Playing
Alabama at 7.
Hey, and to conclude the day's action, you got Weber State at Washington on the Big Ten Network. So,
and also Sunday, you have one
USC.
Game. Yep. USC at LSU at 7:30.
They're playing in Las Vegas though, so neutral site game we got with that. Then on Labor Day itself, Boston College visits the FSU Seminoles at Doak Campbell in Tallahassee. So that is a really a good first full weekend of games, I believe. So
well, you missed one team, Delta State. They beat Mars Hill last night, 47-16. Oh, you know who Delta State is, right?
Delta State.
None other Yeah, I'll give you a guess. I'll
It's
give
in
you a guess.
Mississippi.
Yeah,
No.
well, yes, but who are they?
The Delta State Devils, right?
No. Delta State, the Fighting Okra.
Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, we got to do that again. We got to bring.
Folks,
We got to bring back.
if you don't know, last year we did a funniest
Yep.
or best mascot stream and worst mascot stream, and one of my personal favorites is a little school, Delta State, with the mascot of the Fighting Okra. And didn't the Fighting Okra wear like a diaper?
Yeah,
around
like that.
where
Yeah,
the anthropomorphized
very bulging
parts would have
diaper.
been.
It was a very bulging diaper. It's like so. It was very interesting, I'll say. And Brian said San Jose State was a good game for the home team. Yeah, and that was on Thursday night. San Jose State beat Sacramento State 42-24. With that. All right. So we're gonna hit one more topic area, then we'll wrap up. But thank you for the info on TJ Finley. That's interesting. One thing that I did want to kind of hit with JT tonight was talking about all the conference realignments. I mean, we got the Big 10 conference now goes from sea to shining sea, from up in Oregon, all the way across the top of the country, all the way to the Atlantic coast with New Jersey, I believe, right?
Rutgers, yes. Yeah. And Maryland, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just stunned with this. It's like, because regionality used to be, it bred the rivalries, it bred the hatred, it bred those things in college football. But it's like, and also with so many teams in a league, you can't get familiar with anybody.
Right.
Even if you have a 9-game conference schedule.
Now, they did have 2 divisions, Big 10 East and Big 10 West. I have no idea how that's going to sort.
It looks like they've gotten rid of it this year. I know the SEC got rid of it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the top 2 will go into play. And now the SEC had to do their tiebreakers to do it. Yeah, and that's what's really freaky here. This is even worse. You think the Big Ten's bad? But Atlantic Coast, it goes from, let's see, Florida State, Miami on the southeastern U.S. Of course, FSU is a little bit west in the Panhandle.
Boston,
all the way.
Boston, I think, might be further east.
Yeah, all the way to Boston, and then it goes up to Louisville, and then it goes all the way over to. From there, it just jumps across America. Woo!
All the way to Stanford.
All the way to Stanford. Cal. And while they picked up SMU in Texas. Where the heck did they come from? They're like the player to be named later in a baseball trade.
Right.
You got California, you got what? Stanford, Cal. Those 2.
Now, see, what you're really going to run into here are issues that I already said with the transfer portal, where outside of the top, whatever the gate is to get into the playoffs, the top 12 teams or something, all these other teams are going to just bleed their talent out every single year. But you're going to get mediocrity, where before you had a larger number of conferences. You had arguments about the number 1 from this conference would go to this bowl game versus who's good enough out of this conference to do this. You arguably still had mediocrity in a lot of these bowl games, but you had winners. You had a lot more winners, a lot more reason for home teams to be excited. You look at some of this, the ACC that had all those teams, and then you look at the Big Ten, and you look at the SEC is, I guess, still more regional than the others.
Yeah.
But the Big Ten, you have so many teams, you can't even, you're going to start forgetting who is even in the conference. You're going to have a lot of teams just
the American Athletic has brought in new teams still. Some team would come in, come out. For Atlanta comes in. It's really bizarre looking at some of these. And like you said, the Big 12 conference, they also had significant influxes, Arizona. Now they got Arizona State, Arizona, BYU of all teams.
UCF.
They bring over Cincinnati, UCF. It's like there's no. They're just everywhere. I tell you what, if I was a team, I'd tell you who I'd be PO'd if I was like Kansas State or Oklahoma State or TCU or West Virginia that had that pride and history of college football. Now you got Houston with you, and you got UCF with you, and you got a lot of the other rejects. It's funny now how now Kansas has a chance to be decent. Now that
And
all the
this is
big
something,
boys are gone.
yeah, this is something that I think they're really going to regret in maybe 10 years, when enthusiasm for, like, if you scroll back down to the Big Ten conference there,
Mm-hmm.
when you start having teams like Michigan State, Penn State, Nebraska, Iowa having the same enthusiasm as the fans, like Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, or you have UCLA's dip off, you have Washington's dip off, maybe even the Trojans drop. When those start dropping attendance, because nobody cares about your 7-win football team anymore, because you just have too many opportunities to lose in your conference, and the conference is too big.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them in the long run. I think there's a reason why the NFL has divisions, because you want to be able to say to your fans, we won the AFC South, or we won the NFC North.
And they break them down
that means something.
And they break them down into smaller parts where teams can get intimate with each other, and that you face them, you play them all the time, you don't lose contact. I'm going to talk about that when we look at the SEC in just a second. Let me say hello to Corey Cochran.
Hey,
welcome.
Corey.
Good to see you too. Big 12 could be fun. I mean, now you don't have Texas and Oklahoma in there. That won it every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
ACC West for the win. Yes. Stanford and Cal. Yes.
And what's going to happen is even Ohio State's going to start losing to USC or Washington. It's going to be, unless they do their normal hanky panky and make sure they never play the Ducks, they never play the Trojans.
See, I think this year's scheduling was wonky in the SEC. For Florida to get the most difficult schedule in the country for Vanderbilt. If you looked at Vanderbilt's schedule, you're like, why did you? These guys can barely get out of a wet paper bag. Why did you have them? I'll pull their schedule up in a second. It's like, why did y'all conference ever try to schedule these people with things? One of the things that they did purposely, though, they wanted every team to play Texas or Oklahoma as a welcome to the league thing, and it's like, yeah.
You have plenty of time to do it. Why do you have to do it all at once?
UTEP. Come on, my UTEP. You can beat them. I'm a UTEP fan like I was a Beaver fan, because in 1983, I was looking at an evening newspaper. Yes, evening newspapers, because that's all we had back then before ESPN took off, and just read the box scores and the standings. And I decided I'm going to take the teams that suck. And it was Oregon State, UTEP, and in hockey, the New Jersey Devils. So, hey.
Now, Deadman, if you really want to go back under that evil number of subs, let's have a Conference USA versus MAC stream. I think people would love the Mid-American Conference for 3 hours. No,
let's look at that in a second. But see, Conference USA, UTEP's in there. Sam Houston has now moved up in division stuff. Now you got Western Kentucky. You say Kennesaw is a team that's just come up into the FBS. So the league is adding teams but weakening, I think. But
yes,
of course, you got your three independents: UMass, Notre Dame, and UConn. Mark, do you see? There you go.
They need to keep Notre Dame out of the playoffs since they don't actually play.
Right. That is something. If you look at the college playoffs, Notre Dame has to be one of the top. They can't be one of the top 5 seeds because they will not be a conference champion.
Exactly.
So they'll never have that first round bye. It's difficult for the 2 Pac-2 teams because it's not likely either one will be ranked high enough as a conference or be a real conference. They don't have a conference championship game, so they're not a conference champion. It's just going to be interesting for some of those teams. But look at the Mid-America, like you said, Toledo, Akron, a number of teams. This one seems to be fairly stable this year.
Yeah.
I don't really see any new teams.
They might have lost someone, but they did not gain anyone because I recognize all of those teams.
The Mountain West looks pretty much the same. Now, some of the rumor has been the Mountain West teams going in with the Pac-12. But, I mean, look at it. If you're the Pac-12,
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get that guaranteed bowl money like they used to. Why? I mean, when you got teams like, and no disrespect to the Hepburns out there with San Jose, but you're not going to get the big payouts with Colorado State, San Diego State, UNLV, Wyoming. Not like when they had Oregon and Washington and big names like that, big schools. So
the only thing it might really save is Boise State getting into the playoffs.
But see, I think that Boise State is a team that's really missed their opportunity to move up because they were hot years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When they upset Oklahoma, when they had those years where they were really making.
Oh, this is true. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're a team that would have survived better had they moved to the Pac-12 or been allowed or welcomed into the Pac-12 earlier. They could have, would have gotten more exposure at that point. But there's your big Pac-2, Pac-12 conference. I can't believe they still call it Pac-12.
Come on. Sorry, game update. It's still 16-10. Let's see here. Looks like FAU got a first down for 1 yard, and then a 15-yard penalty for targeting against Michigan State.
Wow.
Which moves it to the MSU 28 for the first down. So
with just under 6 minutes left in the game.
Yes.
I tell you what, Childs is only thrown for 114 yards. I don't understand Smith's offense. When his teams were run first, but they also could throw the ball. And I think we're seeing that he's not a big quarterback.
Get 300 yards and you only have 16 points?
Yeah, Aiden Childs is 10 of 22 for 114 yards, 2 picks tonight. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But Florida Atlantic's quarterback's 10 of 21, 92 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. So, keep an eye on this one, folks. So, we do not know how this goes. It still hangs back. Corey. Yeah, Bucky needs to be here for.
Yeah, Corey's going to help me team up against Bucky.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly. Bucky was here earlier and had to leave, but yeah. Oh, sure thing. That's cool. Let's see. So
now what I want to see is the performance of Oregon and Washington. The California teams I don't care about quite so much. Yeah. They just never have excited me, but those two teams in the Big Ten, I really am curious to see how well they do.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll do well. There's not much change in the Sun Belt Conference.
Could you share that back up again, please?
Yeah, I will. There we go. The Sun Belt's at the bottom. They still have an East and West, but I don't think they really added a lot. But like the Southeastern Conference folks, they've only added 2. They've gone from 14 to 16. But look how it's really more teams in the league. You got Texas, you got Oklahoma now in the conference. Definitely strong additions for the conference itself, but this year I just realized we don't play Missouri again. We don't, and we used to play Auburn every year. I like playing Auburn. I hate playing friggin' LSU, not just because they beat us, but I never liked LSU, and I thought Auburn was a better rival for Florida than LSU.
What is it, like 63% of your conference, almost 2/3 are ranked?
Yeah, well, that's the SEC. That's why people say the SEC. That's why people say the SEC is really, really good this year. And always historically good because they have so many teams in that top positioning. So, but like we said here for the Gators here this year. Given the hardest schedule in the country, host Miami, host Samford, host Texas A&M, which is not a gimme, at Mississippi State. You may laugh at that, folks, but Florida always struggles in Starkville, home of the Cowboy Bell. If you want more cowbell, you go to Starkville. Small Time Republic or Be From O. If y'all have ever been to Starkville for a game, let me know because they came here once and they were allowed to bring their cowbells. And dang, it's annoying. So, yeah, having Auburn like this. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. There are teams that are losing annual matchups. Tennessee, I do not think. We'll look at their schedule in a second. But like here, Florida plays. they get UCF. That is, even though it's at home, could be a tough game. They're at Tennessee, a tough game. They're host to Kentucky, but they can't beat Kentucky for 5 years, so that's not a gimme. Then look, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State.
Yeah, you're not getting through that unscathed.
Not, and I tell you, not with a coach that's not prepared to coach at the Southeastern Conference level. They may have talent.
Well,
they're supposed to be better, but I have said for even the first year he was hired, this guy did not fit in the SEC.
Gosh,
I thought that's year one they should fire him.
Another game update. Michigan State was deep into FAU territory with the first down. Now it's first down and 40 with another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Jordan Turner, backing it up from the FAU 40 down to the MSU 15.
How
they
the heck?
Must have gotten another. I'm going to have to go to every single play. I know we don't do play to play, but
I thought that Florida Atlantic was driving the ball a minute ago.
Michigan State got the ball back.
Yeah. So Corey said he was a big fan, but they seemed to lost a ton of brain power years ago and literally stay away for years ago. Are you talking about Michigan specifically? I think. Yeah.
I think you meant Michigan State.
Well, I think he's cheering with you though, so that's why I was wondering if he was cheering against Michigan. So, yep. He was talking about Michigan. So cool. All right. But yeah, that's all right. So yeah.
So I think my 5 and 7 for MSU. I mean, at this rate, anyway.
3rd and 8. Wow, that just. Well, at least they got the ball back. I mean, I thought Florida Atlantic was driving at one point, but so all right. But here, as you can see, the Gators have a murderous schedule right there. Tennessee. What I wanted to pull up with them though is let's see this here. This is Tennessee's schedule. To what Small Town Republic is saying. Not having both of those teams playing Mississippi State is weird. Mm-hmm. The Tennessee fans last year, before the schedule came out, there are a lot of people in Tennessee that would rather play South Carolina than they would Florida. I don't know if it's being closer or something that they have more of a hatred for South Carolina. I don't know how they don't hate Florida more, but you see South Carolina is not on Tennessee's schedule this year, which is really, really strange. So one of the other things is the SEC stayed with 8 conference games. They did not add a 9th like most other conferences have. So, but let's talk about our friends in Vanderbilt. Okay, shall we?
We shall.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about our friends in Vanderbilt because I tell you, those poor folks, somebody hates them. I will tell you because.
Except for 2 people don't.
Well, 2 people love them. But see, now non-conference it's their fault. Virginia Tech, but they get Alcorn State and Georgia State. Come on, you got to win those games. But look,
and they might come out 3-0, and then
they could come out 3-0, or they could come out 0-3 with who knows. They're at Missouri.
That's a loss.
They host Alabama.
That's a loss.
They're at Kentucky.
If Kentucky's bad enough, that's a push.
Kentucky now has a quarterback, Brock Vandergraft, who transferred from Georgia. So Kentucky looks to be improved on offense. Then they have Texas.
Oh, no, Ball State.
Well, I was only going with okay. Ball State was
they'll win against Ball State. Yeah.
Well, you don't know. You never know.
They will.
They host Texas. The people in Texas are going to be like, what the hell is this place when they get there? Nashville's a nice city, but that stadium is like a high school stadium. Mm-hmm. Oh, Brian Hepburn said he thinks of Blair from Facts of Life. So, then Auburn, at Auburn could be a winnable game, possibly. And depending how they are, hosting South Carolina could be a possible. But then they're at LSU and they host Tennessee. I mean, where is the bright spot? If you're a Vanderbilt fan, I mean, you're going to get crushed by Missouri and Alabama.
Georgia State. Yeah, you're looking at September as happy times.
The three of the four conference games, only Kentucky looks like they can be competitive.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
Missouri, Alabama, and Texas.
Well, that Ball
then you,
State might give you some good hope that you stand any chance at even scoring against Texas the next week if you put up a bunch of points. I mean, literally, that would be the bright spot that you're looking for in the mid part of that season.
But and it gets to my point though. Why did the league schedule this for them? Playing like Texas, Alabama, Missouri. I mean, on top of LSU, Tennessee. I understand Tennessee because it's a rival. It's like it's like the Alabama Auburn game or Texas now Texas A&M. One good thing is Texas A&M rivalry will resume now. That was something that a lot of people really missed for a long time. But where it's like, why did they do this team? And Georgia got a pretty good draw. Georgia got a pretty good draw too. But
this schedule is not pretty. But Dadman, as a fan of Florida, what are you going to do if Vandy walks away with more wins than Florida this year? Because as bad as that schedule is for Vandy, I think there's more windows open than there is for Florida, to be honest with you. And it's because Florida's got even yet a higher caliber of opponents to play, like a whole step up from that Vandy schedule.
No, I know. Let's see. But then again, when you do look at some of the other teams in the conference, you can actually see that they I'm trying to get back to this screen so we can see one of the other teams. Some of the teams do not have a pretty easy schedule this year. And when you compare it to like even Vanderbilt's schedule, you're like, you took it very easy on these people, but you're punishing Vanderbilt, who doesn't stand a chance anyway. Let's see. I'm going to take Texas as long. Texas is.
You know who's got a nice, easy schedule is Ohio State. Go figure.
Oh yeah, that they did. That they did. Oh crap! Why did it bring it up on FSU State? I don't want FSU. Anyway, that happens when you hit the wrong button. But let's see. Yeah, let's see. There is. Let's see. Let's take a look at Alabama's schedule this year. Okay. Because I tell you, I think Alabama got a pretty easy schedule, though. I mean, they get Georgia, but they get them at home. They get at Vanderbilt. They get to host South Carolina. They are at Tennessee, but then they host Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn. I mean, there's some losable games in there, but I mean, when you see what Vanderbilt got stuck with, it's just like you just shake your head.
Well,
like,
here, I'll send you this real quick. Let's look at Ohio State. You tell me who has the harder schedule, Vandy or Ohio State? Because to me, I'm going to say Vandy before you even look. But yeah, let's see here.
I'll be able to pull it up from here. I'll bring up the schedule real quick. So let's see. That way I'm not flipping between websites, and I'll have them here. So Ohio State, who, by the way, got Kenshawn Judkins from Mississippi. That's when it floored me. Is like, why did he leave an up-and-coming team of Mississippi to go to Ohio?
For less playing time?
Hey, by the way, do you say the Ohio State?
I don't, because I have higher than a fifth grade reading level. But,
exactly. They're getting snobby and arrogant about it. So, okay, let's look at Ohio State's schedule. Host Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. Now they're going to look like world beaters. They're at Michigan State. They host Iowa. They're at Oregon.
Yes, so they host that team. They host Iowa.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But they are at Oregon, though. They host.
That's their first tough game of the whole year. It's in mid-October.
Right. Well, they host Nebraska. Then they're at Penn State, though.
Okay, and then the next three games,
Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana,
competition whatsoever.
Then they host. Then they host Michigan.
So they've got three games
Yep.
3 games that are tough. And that Michigan game, they're playing at home this year.
Right.
This schedule, I'm sorry, it's easy. This is an easy schedule if you're in the Big Ten.
Hey, Simply Steve said, say favoritism, small time. I keep forgetting about that small time republic.
Mm-hmm.
The money, the NILs and stuff. It's just like, dang. I was shocked and horrified. I'm like, kid shot Deckard, because I remember following him the last 2 years. Oh, great running back. And I was like, where the hell is he? Ohio State. He didn't even stay in the league. But,
and it's not like a complimentary tattoo and a free bicycle to get to class either.
Exactly.
So now Michigan's schedule is decent. It is decent. I will give them that. They are playing real teams.
I do like what Small Time Republic said. Each conference should have 10 teams, play 9 conference games, and no conference title game. Problem solved. Yeah, because without the title game, then you don't have the things of the wrong team winning, taking up a spot in the playoffs to knock out teams that had a better overall seasonal record. So yeah. And Corey comes with a question. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up in a few minutes, unless we have some other thoughts. But 12 of y'all still with us tonight. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. We've 25 likes. Wow, guys. Thank you to everybody that's come in, spending a lot of time. Thank y'all for talking and chatting and sharing your opinions with us. But JT, this question, who's the worst team overall this year outside of Kentucky? Let's say also outside of let's say also in Division 1. Let's say also not Vanderbilt. Okay, because Vanderbilt in the conference is a bit too easy. It's who would you say, like, let's say what team do you consider to be the worst in the Big Ten?
Oh, in the Big Ten, that's going to be a perennial favorite of either Illinois, Indiana, or Rutgers. I'm thinking probably Illinois is an easy enough pick. I think that they are in for some bad times again this year. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think outside of Vanderbilt in the SEC, well, I think it's between Arkansas and Mississippi State. Mississippi State last year had an identity crisis. They didn't know if they wanted to run or pass, and they fired the coach after this. Parted with him after 1 year because he was the emotional hire after Mike Leach passed away. And last year, I mean, he had the throwing quarterback, but he put him under center, ran the ball all the time, and some games then would throw it. So no wonder the guy transferred. Arkansas brings in another transfer quarterback. They had a lot of points. They scored a lot yesterday, but they didn't play anybody worth a darn. I would say Mississippi State. I would say Mississippi State. And last year I had some hope for Mississippi State, but I just don't think – I think they probably will be worse than Arkansas because Arkansas did bring in Bobby Petrino, who's their former head coach at Louisville, who had a lot of very interesting scandal-type things everywhere he stopped. So almost as interesting as Urban Meyer. So
either that. I think the worst team in the Pac-12 this year is going to be the Washington State Cougars.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree. Exactly. Yeah.
My question for you, Dadman, is.
But don't forget, that's why you keep the CW network.
Yes. Why? Where do you think these two teams are going to end up? Because you don't stay in a conference with two teams, and I don't see them pulling.
They have it for the 1 year. They have it for the 1 year, and the other schools had to pay them off to be able to get out of there. I will say Oregon State has got to somehow get attached to a better conference because they just made major stadium renovations that they were still in the progress of. You've got to be a conference that's bringing in millions of dollars with that. I do not see how that they can do otherwise. And Corey, you have a good night. I hope we answered, but I tell you what, outside of the teams, UMass, University of Massachusetts, probably could be the worst team in the country. No.
You know what I would like to see, though?
Had several years. Yeah, what's up?
Is Boise State leaving the Mountain West and taking San Jose, maybe Fresno, or like Wyoming, somebody like that, or UNLV, and then taking UConn and Notre Dame, and these two Pac teams, Pac-2 teams, and then you poach one or two from somebody else, like another.
But you would
Big
have to
12
have a
team.
Notre Dame in it. You would have to have a Notre Dame in it, because
but
otherwise,
then they can make their own new conference, or
you got to have a
reinvent
name.
Pac.
You got to have at least one big name. But
Right.
but Notre Dame will never join. I mean, we know that won't happen. But in Small Town Republic said that the Oregon State and Washington State are desperate for a Big 12 invite. Yeah, they are. The Oregon State's got to have it. I mean, I'm wondering how when you're playing Fresno State every week, and when you're playing
do you go to
Utah
the AAC
State,
though? Do you go to somewhere like the AAC?
Yeah, but people aren't going. But still, it's not enough to draw that kind of crowd to get people interested to go to those games, because you still got to fill a stadium that now you have debt on. That's now Brian Hepburn says that it dissolves after the season. They shouldn't be brought into the Mountain West, though. Agreed. I think both schools are big enough schools that they're too big for the Mountain West. But as the Small Town Republic, without a Big 12 invite. Hey, but you know what? The ACC said the standard ACC could invite them. I mean, they got down to Berkeley.
Yeah.
So why not bring them in? I mean, hell, they pulled SMU. What was that for? That's a lot of people around here that are fed up in Tallahassee with FSU.
Yeah, the Methodists are
why
nice
did they bring
people.
those teams?
That's why.
What's that?
The Methodists are really nice people. That's why.
Oh, I know there were a lot of people like, what are we doing? What is going on in the conference? So,
yeah.
But I will say that I do believe UMass is going to be one of the worst teams in the country. Because they've had a run of several dry years. Let's see if I can look to them. Let's see. Yeah, they let's see.
The Minutemen.
They're
playing Eastern in Toledo. They've in Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois.
They were 3-9 last year.
They've got a MAC conference matchup for is that? 4 weeks?
1-11 in 2022. Where the quarterback threw 12 yards in a game that season. So
I don't know. They might do better than you might think, because
they were 1-11 2 years in a row, though.
5 MAC teams this year, though.
Yeah. Well, you never know. But hey, so Small Town Republic said Bill Walton died a couple days after Pac-12 baseball tournament, last conference event. They went out together. Yep. Yep. I know. It's well, JT, have we had fun tonight?
I think we have. We
covered quite a lot in 98 minutes. Let's take a look at the scores.
Was it only 98 minutes?
Yeah. Hey, Wisconsin is only up 10-7. I do say that intentionally, like old Piss too.
Yeah, well, Lisa would love to hear that.
No, yeah, she needs to be here so she can give me a hard time about that. But yeah, great old Wisconsin State offense.
Pulled it out.
10-7. Looks like Michigan State did win 16-10.
No scores the second half.
Yep. Florida Atlantic scored the one touchdown. But hey, there you go, folks.
Yippee.
I will say I'm kind of surprised that Jonathan Smith did not come out better but I tell you, but like you said, there's got to be depth and other things. But I don't think you have a quarterback. I mean, I don't know why he bothered transferring him. Maybe he's a good practice player, but it's I was like, no, he didn't impress me last year, and he played garbage minutes, so his numbers look good. But
I still don't understand how you get 300 yards and you still didn't put up any points in the second half.
Yep. They had a running back, 9 carries, 101 yards, longest to 63 yards. So looks like they had one long touchdown run. So it's like,
Yeah.
Well, JT, at least we have football season back. So
Yes, we do, and it's about time. It's felt like forever since the Super Bowl.
I look at
It
that.
really has.
Western Michigan coach, Small Town Republic, played baseball as a kid with the Western Michigan coach.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very
he's
cool.
a better ass. Yeah, that's why we get to this site quite often, where we just sit back and we are retired and watch from the sidelines. All right, well, let's see. And the thing about Old Piss also is that literally, did you ever see when they play Mississippi State, it's called the Egg Bowl.
Are they bad eggs? Is that the reason?
No, I don't know why they do. Maybe everything's
They're rotten eggs.
Maybe they're rotten and
they've been drinking all day. Maybe it's a hard boiled egg. I don't know.
Yeah, they could be rotten and rotten.
They don't go to services on Sunday, so they're deviled eggs. I don't know.
Something like that.
I keep going with egg jokes that aren't funny. Just let me know. I'll be
It's
here.
okay. No, you're fine. You're doing fine. You're covering me for a second so that I'm actually doing something. I am actually going to play with here. There we go. Let me get this.
I'm just astounded. Those penalties, 12 penalties for 140 yards.
God,
there we go. That says discipline problem right there.
Yeah, especially especially about all that moving backwards down the field. Gee, Manetti's. And Podcore's is here. Hey, welcome. Podcore's like the egg jokes.
Well, good. I'm glad someone did.
Good to see you tonight.
Hey there, Podcore's.
All right. Well, this game, Small Time Republic will know this game. I don't know if anybody else out there will. And I'm going to play this frame by frame. No sound, but you don't need the sound. But, it's how I do my times of danger with YouTube and the gods. Mm-hmm. So I will play it. I will cut it up a little bit here to be, and I will talk over it. All right. So here we go. The Egg Bowl from a couple years ago, 4 years ago. All right. Here we go. Let's see. This is where we're going here.
Okay. So we're watching the receiver on the near side of the field.
Right. The receiver. So we got the drop back because it's 3rd and goal, right? And then here you go. And then catches them. Touchdown, right? Okay, we got a touchdown, folks. Okay, so guess what? It pulls within 1 point of Mississippi State. Then he gets up 20. And he.
Oh.
Old Piss.
Did he got a unsportsmanlike conduct for that, didn't he?
Yeah. just a little bit. I'm actually trying to. Let's see. All right.
He should have said my hamstring was tightened up. I thought I had pulled a hamstring. That was a stretch.
That's what he should have done. You would have thought, but see, it does not end there. Trying to get it to a good spot here. Let's see. All right, so they move 15 yards back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so here goes the extra point, 15 yards back, and it goes
wide right.
Wide right.
And if they were 15 yards closer, it would have been in.
Oops. Yes, exactly. Classy. I definitely remember that. Yes. One of the classic moments on Thanksgiving weekend in the Southeastern Conference. So, but hey, as I speak Southeastern Conference, JT, I do appreciate you coming in tonight. And this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And like I said, I wanted to talk about some games this weekend, which I think we did. I don't know whether this will be often I do on Friday nights. I'm looking at trying to do some things on Saturday, talking about the games after they happen. I don't know, but a lot of things with life are by the moment these days. So, and
this weekend's a long holiday weekend anyway. So nothing normal is going to happen, right?
No,
for anyone.
No, probably not. But hey, JT, any last thoughts?
Let's see. Well, I'm happy I came on the stream for one specific reason in particular, and that was because when we started talking about Michigan State, I know you weren't giving them like they're going to win every game kind of endorsement, but you let me talk through it, and I didn't feel quite as bad about the chances for the team going through the year.
Mhm.
So that was positive. But no, I love talking football and I love being on your channel. And
Mhm.
so this was a great evening, at least for me. Hopefully it was for you and for the chat.
A lot of fun here. You guys in chat rock. I will say, thanks to everybody. Make sure you hit that like button and all. We had so many people coming through. We got 26 likes, and we got 6 of you hardcore people here at the end. But thank y'all for being here. But do not forget, also on Wednesday nights, we'll be back to our regular weekly show with Buggy's Crafting as my co-host with the 2024 SEC and Michigan College Football Weekly. You'll find out more of her dry wit and humor and biting sarcasm, especially towards JT when he comes in with his green and white and she's got her maize and blue.
Or when
But
Hungry pops in. Yeah, that's
yes.
always chaos. Yeah.
Oh, parkours, I wish to turn in sooner. Oh, well, you can go back and watch some before. But yeah, I think we've hit everything out. We're ready for tomorrow. I'm ready for it. Go Gators at 3:30. Remember, we got Georgia Clemson at noon, Florida Miami at 3:30, and Notre Dame Texas A&M at 7:30 on ABC. Plus, there are games on other networks. Well, folks, like I said, I'll leave this up here. Catch you Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Appreciate all your support. Listen, this was a riot with her the last 2 weeks with the preseason and the week 1. But y'all have a great night, and we will see you the next time, whenever that may be. Bye, all.
See ya.